Okay, welcome and good evening, Marshall Reddick investors. Terry and Ken, are you there? And are you ready to go?
We are here. Let's roll.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, everyone on the webinar this evening for joining us. Really excited about the Southwest Florida presentation because it's our most popular market and there's so much going on there. So many Marshall Reddick investors have invested in Southwest Florida for over a decade, and we have a phenomenal team. Whom we're going to introduce you to this evening, in addition to learning about investment opportunities and everything going on in the Southwest Florida market. But just before getting into Southwest Florida, I know there are new investors on the webinar tonight. So if this is your first Marshall Reddick Real Estate seminar or event, want to go into a little bit of detail about who we are and what we do. My name is Daniel. I'm an advisor and a realtor here at Marshall Reddick Real Estate. I am speaking to all of you directly from our office in Newport Beach, California. Been with the company just over 3 years now, working with all different kinds of investors, beginners all the way up to seasoned investors. And what I do day in, day out is work with my clients to understand your real estate goals, your investment criteria, and help determine the right types of properties and the right markets to invest, like Southwest Florida, Cape Coral, Lehigh Acres, Fort Myers, to achieve your financial goals. If you're unfamiliar with Marshall Reddick Real Estate, the company and the services we offer, we are a full service real estate brokerage, a one-stop shop. Like I said, we help our clients buy and sell real estate in 16 markets across the country. In those markets, we have very carefully vetted teams and resources to help you buy, sell, analyze. We have lenders available, both private and conventional 1031 exchange accommodators, everything you need to execute a successful real estate transaction, regardless of what your specific goals are. In addition to our brokerage services, we are a property manager and manage our clients' investment properties, and a private money lender as well. So a little bit more about working directly with an advisor at Marshall Reddick Real Estate. This is essentially what it entails, the why, how, when, what, where, and who in terms of real estate investing. And it starts with an initial call with an advisor. Our services and consultations are completely free, but what we do is really get to the bottom of what you're looking to accomplish in real estate investing. Whether you're looking to retire and need to supplement your income, whether you're not happy with your performance in the stock market and are looking to increase your return on investment. We'll evaluate your financing options, your budget, your time frame, and ultimately determine the right type of property, the right market, price point, etc. And once we have that analyzed and determined, we introduce you to all the key players like Terry and like Ken, like our preferred lenders, insurance agents, etc. So I mentioned a couple times that we help clients invest or essentially buy and sell real estate in 16 markets across the country. But it's important to note that these markets are not chosen at random. They're very carefully vetted so that the investments not only make sense on paper, that they do cash flow, that they do appreciate well, but also that they're in sustainable areas where long term, you're going to have demand for rental housing, strong tenants, a strong economy. And you're going to hear tonight, Terry and Ken reference the 7 points you see in front of you and how they're relevant to a really strong and growing market like Southwest Florida. and a quick snapshot of the 16 markets we're in. Of course, tonight our focus is on Fort Myers. Entails Cape Coral, Lehigh Acres. Terry and Ken are going to go into all specific areas of the metro and the investment opportunities available there as well. But before we dive in, a quick poll for everyone on the webinar tonight. Get to know a little bit more about you guys and what you might be looking for in a real estate investment and in a market like Fort Myers, Lehigh Acres, and Cape Coral. One moment here. And this poll, completely anonymous, by the way, so don't worry, we're not going to share this and make it public. The first poll this evening, I'm interested in Fort Myers, Cape Coral, Florida because, or for, I'm sorry, and we'll give you just about a minute here. All right, a few more seconds and we'll get this wrapped up. All right, it looks like the overwhelming majority of the investors on the webinar tonight are interested in Florida for the income potential. So we'll talk about the returns of specific investment opportunities available today, and I think you'll be pleasantly surprised with the income potential, both from a appreciating standpoint and a cash-on-cash return standpoint as well. So without further ado, it's my pleasure to welcome the Dream Team, our Southwest Florida regional reps, Terry and Ken. Like I said, we've been working with Terry and Ken for well over a decade. They've helped hundreds, if not thousands, of Marshall Reddick investors in their market. They're local experts. They're so much fun to work with. And every time I listen to them present, I learn something new about the market. So I'm excited for all of the investors on the webinar tonight as well. And Terry and Ken, I'll let you both take it from here.
All right. Well, thanks for unmuting us, Daniel. And
hello to everybody.
That's Terry, and I'm Ken. Thanks, guys, for joining the webinar tonight. Looks like we got about 28 on board. Thanks for your time, guys, showing up, listening to what we got. Added a bunch of new slides to Florida since the last webinar, and coming out there in September to SoCal and do some 3-day presentations. But everything's still cranking right along down here in Florida. Things are really good. We've been with Reddick, Marshall's organization, since 2004 as basic buyers agents. My wife Terry does a lot of the legwork. So for those of you that are on the webinar tonight, you know how Terry operates, and she's just a phenomenal communicator. So you will not be disappointed in with the customer service you'll get. So with that, we'll get started with the PowerPoint. If you get a chance, write down the information that you see in front of you, Terry's website, email address, and our office phone number. And we will move on through the slides and show you what's going on and why Florida is such a great opportunity. And it has been for the last 7 years, and it's continuing to grow with appreciation and cash flow properties. And that's what we do down here. We dig out those really good deals and get them out to the Marshall Reddick website, which anybody who has been on the website knows that Terry consistently updates those properties. So this is our area, Southwest Florida. We are on the west coast of Florida. We're approximately an hour and a half south of Tampa, about 2 hours across the Alligator Alley from Miami, and we're on a nice, quiet area that's growing phenomenally in the last 5 to 7 years. Florida had over 322,000 people move to the state of Florida last year. Our current population is a little over 21 million, and it's looking to go up to about 23 million by 2023. So the population is going to continue to grow. Yeah, some of the numbers by the Census Bureau there is 26 million by 2023. Next slide down, there you go. So zooming in on our area, these are the MSAs, the market centers that we look at. We consistently look for properties in the Cape Coral area, Lehigh Acres on the right-hand side. Those are the two areas that we really look for deals in for the lowest possible prices on duplexes, single-family homes. The lower the price that we find on these houses, the condition that they're in, we vet the properties before we put them on the website, and we make sure that they're good, solid properties. They're going to cash flow as much as possible, and the appreciation in the Lee County area has been around between 7 and 11%. If you kind of look at a 5 to 6 year sliding scale, last year was right around 7.9%. So you purchase your property, it appraised, they cash flow. So we got both things going for us down in the Southwest Florida area. We also look in the city of Fort Myers. It's close proximity to the airport. Then you go down a little bit into Bonita Springs, Sanibel. What we have over on the left-hand side of the slide is where all the beaches and all the rivers and everything in the estuaries, and that's kind of what the big draw is down to our area for seasonal residents and vacationers. We had about 4.5 million visitors come into Lee County last year alone. So what we're going to run into right now is some of the hand-picked properties that Terry had pulled up and put on the website tonight. So she'll touch base on the properties and go over the properties and talk about the numbers that you see on the right-hand slide. So we'll move into that, and then we're going to roll back into the PowerPoint presentation, talking about some of the job markets and the job growth in the area.
This first property you're looking at is a triplex in Cape Coral. First of all, the difference between Cape Coral and Lehigh is Lehigh's kind of a bed and breakfast. It's not quite as old. It's about 10 years behind Cape Coral, but it's growing. Cape Coral, the big draw there is because obviously it's a cape, it's surrounded by water, and people love to be close to the water. So a lot of stuff goes on in there. They've had 4 major expansions in the city that they've been working on and continue to work on, that Kenny will get into some of those further down in the presentation. But if you read these here, it just has the price, the down payments are normally 30% on those. The initial repair cost is just something that I guesstimate by looking at the place and the photos. I take lots of photos, but I don't really know what it's going to be until we have the inspections done. So most of the time it's less than that. We have had a couple times that it's been more, but not very many. Marshall Reddick estimates the closing cost and the mortgage payment, stuff like that. The taxes, I take those right off of the county tax website, so those are accurate. The insurance I get directly from an insurance company, so those are pretty close. They do change a little bit depending on your age and credit report and stuff like that. The vacancy rate, our vacancy rate is very low here. They have it at 8% because they take a kind of a nationwide thing, but ours has been under 4% for the last 4 years. The property management company that we work with is very strong, and theirs runs about 2%. So our properties stay rented very strongly. Our average renter stays for 4 years. We've got renters that have been there 10 years, 12 years. We've got one guy that's been there 22 years. So real strong on that. The HOA fees, for the most part, I stay away from those. You're going to see one property in an area that has a voluntary one, but most of the time I stay away from them because they eat into our profits. The utilities, the tenants pay all the utilities. Florida is a very strong landlord-friendly state. Landscaping, this is an estimate because obviously, especially in our rainy season, you have to have the properties mowed. If it's a single-family home, normally the tenants take care of that because they've got a garage and everything to store lawnmowers in. If it's a multifamily property, normally they'll have the property management take care of that. So you can kind of look at the fixed expenses, but down the monthly income on this, $1,160 is very strong. And then if you go down the estimated maintenance, that's something that Marshall Reddick does also. The vacancy, like I said, this is showing a vacancy of 10%. Our vacancy, you can get on, when you go on the Marshall Reddick website, you can play with some of these numbers. You can put the cursor over it and change that down to 4% to make it more accurate for Florida. And then that's just going to increase your cash flow each month. So then we've got the projected 15-year profit and then the projected like 16.5 ROI. Over underneath it, always read what I put in the fine prints, because that's where I just kind of describe what the property is. The city of Cape Coral, anything mostly that's in the south is on city utilities. Anything that's up in the north, what the Cape Coral started in everything was on septic and well and septic to begin with. So they're going through the city and they start in the south and they're just moving that way. When they get to your property, they basically knock on your door and say, hey, we're here to put in the city utilities now. So they get rid of your well and septic, put in the city utilities, and then you get assessed a utility assessment, which is normally around $25,000. So when you read down here where it says all assessments are paid, it means the current owner has already paid those, so you're not going to have anything to worry about those. Flood insurance is determined per property. We get a lot of questions about hurricanes. We don't really get that many hurricanes, so it's kind of a myth. We did get one, 2 years ago now, but it was the first one that hit us directly since 1960, and we didn't even get that much damage. So, but hurricane insurance is included in your property insurance. It's not something that you have to buy extra here. Anyway, so you can just read, it tells you if there's 2-bed, 2-bath, if it's got tile flooring, if I can get years of ACs or water heater, stuff like that, I usually put that in there, but just kind of gives you an overview of what the property is offering. We don't get very many triplexes. They're few and far between because most people that have them hang on to them. So, but this is a good one and it cash flows nicely. This is a basic duplex in Cape Coral. This one is in the north, so this one is on well and septic, but it's 3-bedroom, 2-bath, or they're usually either 3-bedroom, 2-bath with garages or 2-bedroom, 2-bath, and some of them have dens that are used for the 3rd bedroom. So I correct, because this one's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, but it's really nice. It's freshly painted on the outside. Just kind of look at the same numbers over here. Initial repair cost, I put $2,500. Once again, just as a guess, but you can go down and just all of these are going to be basically the same. The gross rent, the rent that is shown here is the rent that we know that our property management gets for this size of a property. A lot of times when we're purchasing these from an outside seller, they may start below market value, and then we'll have to raise the rents as soon as the rental lease comes up available, or if one side or something is vacant, then we can start it out at the full market value as soon as we close on the property. But once again, excuse me, the main thing, look at the monthly income that is showing you that you can get and the ROI. So I'm choking here.
All right, she's got to step away. She's got a bug in her throat. Just rolling through this one is out in Lehigh Acres. Like I said, look in the comment section. It says nice big open concept. Each unit has a very light and bright, convenient location to Gunnery Road, which gives you access to Lee Boulevard and the airport. Most of the properties out in Lehigh Acres, they're within 10 or 15 minutes from the airport. And if anybody gets a chance to come down to South Florida, you'll see just there's a massive amount of commercial building that's going on around the airport. They're opening up, a whole bunch of new commercial space for aviation and manufacturing. I think Terry's got her little bug out of her throat, so she'll jump back on and just follow through with the rest of the flyer.
Sorry about that. I swallowed water wrong. That's terrible. Okay, so the difference between when we get back to Lehigh Acres, all the duplexes and probably about 80% of the single family homes in Lehigh are on well and septic. If you're not familiar with well and septic, Kenny can kind of go on that. You can Google it. It's not a big deal. It's got a well underground, so the water comes up into the property and it goes through a water filtration system. So by the time the water goes into the house, it's like bottled water. There are a couple systems that have to be taken care of. So There is a utility. It's about $55 a month that the property management will charge you to take care of it. They go out and they'll keep salt in the system to make sure the system is taken care of. If it's taken care of property, it lasts for a long time. But Lehigh Acres, for the most part, the duplexes cash flow better than Cape Coral simply because of the price point. Cape Coral has gotten a lot higher priced over the past few years on their duplexes. They run about anywhere from $50,000 to $75,000 more. They do get a little bit higher, about $100 more rent per month, depending on the property. But Lehigh Acres just always seems to cash flow the best. The depreciation rate over the past 4 years has been neck and neck between the two cities. So a lot of the investors, especially new investors, have chosen to start in Lehigh so they can get some cash flow going, get the appreciation, and then when they start purchasing numerous properties, they'll do some properties in both areas. This is another one that just came up in Lehigh. If you'll notice, this one's a little bit higher in price. We do have some wiggle room in the prices that come off of the MLS because we, over the past, I guess the past year, we've kind of moved back into a buyer's market, but some of the sellers are still, we call it fishing when they put the properties and they put the prices up higher. But there are sold comps to support these prices. But like I said, we do have some wiggle room in these. But this is a really nice location out here. This one here was just, it's got nice paint on the outside also, so it's a very clean property. Tile throughout. Sometimes we get carpet, sometimes we don't. If they do start with carpet in there, normally the investors, we advise them to change the carpet out when a tenant changes over, because then you don't have that ongoing carpet maintenance or expense to replace it. Carpets only last a couple years anyways. If there's children in the house, we all know how that goes. So the ones that have tile are kind of a no-brainer, which is nice. This one is a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, but it's got a den that's used for the 3rd bedroom. This one has double garages, which is very unusual. I think we've had maybe 5 of them over the past 4 years that have a double garage for each unit. And that's also why it's priced a little bit higher. But if you look down, it still cash flows really nice. This is just a little house that I found in Lehigh. It's just kind of a little country looking house, but these are great rentals for single people or just a young couple that's just starting out. And a lot of people here like to have land, and I think this one's on like a half acre or something. So they like to be out there because if they have boats or RVs or anything like that, they can park them in their, on their land. But it's just a cute little house that cash flows really nicely and very low priced at $115. And we could probably even get a couple $1,000s off of that if you're looking for a first time investor at a lower price point. It's been all remodeled on the inside. It's even got new plumbing. Sorry, I just threw that in. You can go ahead, Danielle.
All right, awesome. Thank you guys so much for running through the properties, different areas, and the returns as well. I just want to point this out for any investor on the call tonight, especially our new investors. If you haven't been on our website, this is where all the properties that Terry just went through are listed, and you can click on the properties, go through the returns. They're adjustable on the website, so if you don't agree with the numbers you're seeing, you can essentially modify them and use your own numbers, see how those affect your returns. There's also an incredible amount of information on there, so that includes our previously recorded webinars, market data packets, essentially an encyclopedia of information. So highly recommend hopping on our website and checking out the properties and
there's also a ton more photos of the inside also for you to look at.
That's right. Yes, exactly. So all the updates that Terry was discussing, you can click through the photos on the website and see for yourself and see where the properties are located on the map on our website. Really a wealth of information. And you may have noticed in the pro formas Terry was going through, and you'll notice these on the website. You'll see allocations for maintenance and vacancy, essentially variable expenses. I highly recommend, especially new investors on the call, go through the Reddick Property Rating ebook. It's available for free on our website. It goes hand in hand with evaluating property on our website and choosing the best investments for your specific investment goals. It's a free download. I'm happy to email it over as well. So a really powerful tool that I recommend reviewing. And that leads us into our second poll this evening, making sure that you are all paying attention to the great investments that Terry just ran through. So I will get this launched here. All right, our second poll question. The property that most interested me was, and again, I'll give everyone just about a minute or two. Again, completely anonymous. We won't be projecting the results. And just a few more seconds here before we get this poll closed up. All right, it looks like we have a clear winner with the triplex, but actually pretty well spread out against all 5 properties. Investors on the call found a favorite in each and every one, so very cool. And regarding a lot of the information that you see and hear presented tonight, this is one of those additional resources that we have available on the website that are going to reference those 7 points that we talked about earlier and that Terry and Ken are going to be talking about tonight. So the URL to find the market data packet on Terry and Ken's market is below. But again, we're happy to send this over directly via email too, if that's preferable for you.
All right, so jumping back into the PowerPoint. So what we got going on is just a bunch of slides here, guys, that are just going to kind of just want to paint a picture of how strong our economy is down in South Florida. Last year, Lee County itself gained 10,600 jobs. Industries with the highest growth over the year being in construction. There's a lot of new hotels going up. There's a lot of home construction going up. There's a lot of hospitals going up. There's a lot of schools going up. There's a lot of fire stations going up. Just a lot of commercial building to back up all the residents that have been moving into our area. Lee County saw growth over the last 2 years of around 30,000 full-time residents. Collier County was right behind them with the large amount of people moving permanently to South Florida. We have a huge snowbird season down here, and for those of you guys that don't know what that means, is right after Thanksgiving all the way to Easter, our population doubles. So in Lee County, the population right now is right around 768,000. It jumps to about 1.4 million between the months, of November and April. And it's just incredible what it does to the economy down here as far as people coming down for vacations. They come down for their 6 months. They get out of the cold weather up north. And that's what kind of just really just propels the economy down here with regards to jobs, and people decide they want to come down and stay. If they come and visit, they love the weather during those months. It's just phenomenal. So Collier County added 6,000 jobs permanently, and the highest growth was in leisure and hospitality, as well as along with construction. Both of the counties are right next to each other. If you look on the map, Lee County's to the north, Collier County's to the south. So Obviously, leisure and hospitality is massive because our area is so clean. It's a great place to visit. It's a great place to raise families too. So we've had a big shift change in the mean price, or the average, not price, but the people that move to our area now. It used to be from the 50s to the 60s. Now it's from 25 to 54. Is we're seeing a large amount of younger families move into the area. So it's just a great place to start moving. We're seeing a lot of people migrate from the East Coast of Florida, which is getting heavily congested with population. They want to come over to an area that's kind of a little more slower pace, which is a good word for it. Construction employment was up almost 11% in the Naples area, and it was up 14.2% in Lee County. Downtown Fort Myers area, down in the city and the river, is just blowing up. So anything that is along the water anywhere in the state of Florida is just really growing because people want to come to Florida for the sunshine and the beaches. Unemployment right now sits at 2.9%. Lee County had the lowest jobless rate. Actually, unemployment is down. It had the lowest jobless rate in a 5-county region, 2.9%, according to the report by the Florida Department of Economic Opportunity. If you come down here, you guys have an opportunity to come down to Florida, visit us, let us know you're coming. We'd be happy to take you to lunch, show you the area, put you in the pickup truck, and just show you what's going on. The roads are exploding with just construction trucks and dump trucks, and it's just so much growth going on. Every corner, every intersection, there's commercial real estate going up, shopping centers, food stores, just you name it, it's going on down here. Lee Health System, this is a brand new hospital that just opened up I think it opened up in December of 2019, $40 million hospital in the southern part of Lee County. It was much needed. It is now open and flourishing. There's so many people moving to the area. The ambulances they're overcrowding the local hospitals. So this new hospital is between Collier County and Lee County. They are in the process now of permitting for another 75 acres to open up a level 1 trauma center, which is much needed. I don't know, for some of you people that do know Terry and I am a full-time firefighter down here. I'm a lieutenant on a fire engine at North Collier Fire. So I know a lot of stuff that's going on in the area. My fire department is hiring consistently. Most of the fire departments in Lee County are adding on personnel every single year, anywhere from 6 to 10 firefighters. Cape Coral is going to be building a fire station, preferably right about every year for the next 10 years for the explosion of growth that they have in Lee County. So a lot of jobs. Lee Health Systems is probably one of the top employers right next to the Lee County school districts. They just built 2 new high schools in Lee County, and they are in a process now of trying to hire teachers. They need about 300 teachers every year now, because the school system itself in Lee County had an influx of 1,200 full-time students just last year alone. And it's been typical between 1,000 and 1,500 every year for the last 4 years. So a lot of growth going on with younger families moving back into the area. So Bloomberg had a little they did some analyzing. I was reading around. We're kind of just looking at who's moving into the area, and Florida is a big winner as the wealthy move out of the northern states. Florida nets $17.2 billion from inbound moves versus outbound moves. Connecticut, New York, New Jersey, they face the biggest income drains, which means people are leaving the Northeast. My family lives on Long Island. My mom pays $13,000 a year in property tax for a small 1,200 square foot house. So people are coming to the state of Florida. Why are they coming to the state of Florida? Well, for one reason, they have no state income tax down there. If you retire in the state of Florida, you don't pay income tax on your Social Security. You don't pay income tax on your pension. You don't pay income tax on your IRAs. You don't pay any income tax on anything that you need to survive if you're going to retire down in Florida. That's why a lot of people are moving into the area. That's why 300,000 people moved to the state of Florida last year and have been moving around that same amount every single year for the past 5 to 7 years. That's why Florida moved into the number 3rd position as the most populated state in the nation. California's first, obviously, and then you went into Texas, and then Florida moved ahead of New York. So it just kind of tells you what's going on with our state. It's just growing, and it's continually, people are moving into the area. And really what that equates to is if you're looking to invest in a property and you want to buy a rental property, Florida's a really good place, especially Lee County and Southwest Florida, because young families are moving to the area. They're moving into the area for jobs, and a lot of people moving into the area want to just rent for like a year or two. Some people are still building their credit up. You know, some people don't have the ability to buy a house. So the renters, it's a very strong rental market, because when we talk about people that rent your house, it's not going to be for like a year. It's not. Sometimes we get renters that have been in there 5 years, and they treat their house, the rental house, like it's their house. So it's very good. It's a very good combination for an investor that has a house that is being taken care of, because somebody, you know, is going to live in it and take care of it like it was their own, until they have the ability financially and you know, credit wise to purchase the house. Another big thing that happened down here last year, Amazon opened up a distribution plant. So it's kind of amazing, where we used to have 2-day delivery down by us, and now it's 1-day delivery. It's crazy, but Amazon opened up. They bought a building last year. It was about 160,000 square feet. They hired 327 employees. They put these people on the payroll, and then they now just opened up the plant about 3 months ago, which is right near Lehigh Acres and the Southwest Florida airport. So the unemployment obviously continues to drop, and Amazon has already got plans to increase their square footage. So like I said about the airport, there's a lot of commercial building going on in the Skyplex area, which is a huge 1,200 acre site that they're building all kinds of facilities to help support the airport. Amazon was a big move coming into the area. It's just really good. Downtown Fort Myers is blowing up as well. This is an older city, but there has been just millions of dollars dumped into the area. We used to go down there 5 or 6 years ago, and it wasn't as vibrant as it is now. There's over 500 million on the books for future projects. The Luminary Hotel, this is a picture I took coming over the bridge from Cape Coral the other day, and threw it into the slide because this hotel topped off. And it's the Luminary Hotel. It's owned by Marriott, but what it's doing is they're tying into the convention center, downtown Fort Myers, to the Harborside Convention Center, and everything on the waterfront is just blowing up. The marinas, there's a couple of 30-story condos that will be coming out of the ground this year from a developer that came over here in the downturn and bought a lot of land on the riverfront. He bought about 25 acres on the riverfront. He's going to be putting up high-rise condos, luxury condos. So if you want to get online and look at the downtown district, you just put in Fort Myers Downtown River District, and it'll pop up, and you can see everything that's going on. They got webcams and everything of everything that's going on in the downtown area. So it's a very good for the city down there. It's good for the whole region, especially Lee County. This Skyplex is a new facility. The roads are in. Every time we go out to Lehigh, it's on the way out to Lehigh. It's right near the ballpark, the JetBlue ballpark that they built out there. It's located at Southwest Florida International Airport. If you can see at the top of the picture, that's the airport that they built back in 2005. And now all the support services for the airport are going in. There's a big maintenance hangar going in there. There's some talk in the area that United may start hubbing down here like in Chicago. They're a big hub up there. The airport's expanding. They're in the process now of putting in a second north-south runway, and they built a $2.5 million fire station and put all the firefighting equipment in for the increased load on the runways with the flights coming in. And now they're in the process. The Fed released all the funds through a grant for them to build a new control tower. So the airport's going to start opening up. FedEx wants to start increasing flights. You know, every major carrier that handles freight, they're so landlocked over in Miami and Fort Lauderdale that the next possible place to explode with the airport expansion is here in Southwest Florida. Instead of driving all this freight across from Miami, now they're saying, hey, we need to expand the airport and land all this equipment there. So there's a lot of facilities that are opening up. Once again, you get online, just put in Fort Myers Skyplex, and you'll see there's a lot more videos. This is just a small snippet of what's going on. Yeah, and then Boeing just made an announcement yesterday that they are moving their SpaceX plant, which is basically they're moving from Arlington, Virginia, down to Titusville, Florida. It's a massive announcement for Boeing and for the state of Florida. The amount of jobs that are going to come into Titusville is amazing. It says Boeing is relocating its headquarters of its space and launch division to Titusville on the Florida Space Coast. They're talking about somewhere between 500 and 1,200 jobs moving into the Titusville area. So that's just another good punch for the Florida economy. Gartner's another big information technology company. They just built a new campus on the Skyplex grounds, and it's now open. We drove past it. It's fully going. Gartner employs more than 1,200 people right now in Lee County, and it anticipates growing to more than 2,300 associates by 2022. These are high-paying jobs too. The average annual salary in Florida used to be below 54,000. Now it's between 65 and 80,000, which is good because when jobs go up, rents go up, and when rents go up, properties cash flow. And that's what I hear Terry talking about. They're able to get properties, get good properties, get better rents, which means better cash flow. And to be honest with you, we're still in a really good buyer's market. A lot of the buyers have been out, sellers have been out there asking a little bit too much. You know, when the market heats up and it stays hot like it is, everybody's like, I'm going to sell, I'm going to overprice, and I'll do some fishing. But things are kind of simmering down now, where it's really leveling off to a buyer's market, and we're seeing a lot of really good deals come across the plate. And that's where Terry's constantly on the MLS looking at everything, as well as getting pocket listings from brokers around the area that we have relationships to. They'll call Terry and say, hey, I got this property. It's a hot one. I'm not going to put it on, the MLS. One of your investors want it. Terry's like, yeah, send me the info. Boom, and I'll throw it up on the website. Or she'll email it to past buyers. We have a gentleman by the name of Jonathan, and he's an attorney. And I think he's he's at 11 properties right now, and he just pays cash for all his properties. So he knows the market's good, and he continues to purchase down here, and he's really, his portfolio has grown tremendous. Arthrex is another massive facility. These guys are a little south of Lee County. I could go on about these guys. They basically are the leaders in hips, the leaders in knees, and artificial shoulders. They're building this massive facility. It's crazy. It's over $100 million. They're building 3 hotels that they own right next to this facility in Collier County. And the typical salary person that starts this job down in our area, it's in the high 90s to 120,000. So it's just bringing a lot of support. When you get an Arthrex medical facility like this in your area, it's just really such a strong indicator of these companies, putting money into this local area and our economy. And it's a really a great thing. Southwest Florida has always been known as a sleepy town, a sleepy side. The sidewalks roll up at 9 o'clock, and they still do, for that matter. We don't have population numbers like you'd have over in Miami, and we don't have congestion over there, but things are really starting to grow, and the company knows that land is available. And so this Arthrex medical facility that's going up in Collier County is great for our area and our jobs, and it's just bringing more people into the area. So Lehigh Acres, we'll talk a little bit about it. I'll just flow over the highlights. It's Lehigh Acres is one of the largest residential communities in Lee County. It's one of the driest elevations in Lee County. So there is no flood insurance on any properties that you'll buy in Lehigh Acres, which means less money for flood insurance if you don't need it, which means better cash flows. The population is around 100,000 as of 2019. When we hit that 100,000 mark, we're starting to see a lot of facilities starting to go up. They just built a 4-story medical center out there. I think it's about 300,000 square feet to handle all the influx of people that are moving into the area. It's 96 square miles, pre-planned residential community, which is growing. Real estate prices are low and cash flows are higher, like Terry had mentioned. The lower price point out there. There's plenty of land available out in Lehigh Acres. And it's basically about a 10 to 15 minute ride from the airport. So if you look at it on the map, you pull it up on Google Maps, you'll see it's adjacent right to the airport, which is really good. So moving on to Cape Coral, this is the other area. It's nicknamed the Waterfront Wonderland, actually, because it's just a boater's paradise. People come to Florida. When you want to move to Florida, a lot of people come down here. They want to be on the water. They want to have a boat. They want to have access to the Gulf of Mexico in their backyard, and Cape Coral allows for that. When you look at the next slide, you'll see it provides access to the Gulf of Mexico. So in Cape Coral, you're going to look, this is an aerial view. So all these dark blue areas, those are canals. And eventually they lead out to the Gulf of Mexico. So you can have a house and put a boat in your backyard and have it on a lift that lifts the boat out of the water. When you want to get in it, you jump in the boat, the lift goes down, and you're off out into the water. So people that really are boaters, enthusiasts, they move to Cape Coral. And what that does, it pushes property values up higher in Cape Coral. Terry had talked about properties being a little more expensive in Cape Coral. Well, this is why. You know, the returns on your properties are a little bit higher, the price point's a little bit higher, and the rents are a little bit higher. So Cape Coral is quite a bit more developed commercially than Lehigh Acres is, but Lehigh Acres is moving right along, right behind them. So there's over 400 miles of boating canals throughout Cape Coral. And it's a unique community to Florida, and it's the second largest city in the state of Florida as well. City of Cape Coral just completed a $10 million convention center, 35,000 square feet, and it's located at the Westin Hotel in Tarpon Point, which is in the southern part of Cape Coral. Big hotels are all going up down in the south part of Cape Coral. There's a lot of big communities and a lot of big projects coming up. I don't know if I have a slide in there, but the Bimini Basin project is another huge one that's coming out of the ground due to break ground, as well as a couple of other. So if you guys are interested in really seeing what's going on in Cape Coral, there's like too much to put on the PowerPoint. We want to try and keep it right to about 10:30. So we'll just keep moving through the slides, but there's a lot of stuff going on down by us. So Port Charlotte, we were always looking for other areas that are blowing up. South Gulf Cove is an area. You could picture it. It's not anything like Cape Coral. It's a smaller community in Port Charlotte. We have a lot of information on it. We've been up there. Terry has sold duplexes, so we have
There's 2 on the website.
2 on the website right now. We have a preferred builder that's building up there. It's a vibrant waterfront community, obviously boating access. I'll just hit some of the highlights. South Gulf Cove is affordable. It's secluded 6,200 acre site. It's deed restricted, waterfront community, boating access. We've got a bunch of other information on it. So if you are interested in this area, the price points are a little bit lower. The rents are a little bit better. The area really needs rental properties because there's a lot of people. It's kind of like, it's been a hidden gem. It's a little bit north of Cape Coral, about 35, 40 minutes north of Cape Coral. And it's just a great little community. So if you guys are interested in it, you got Terry's email, you got the phone number, you got Daniel's phone number. Hit them up and we can really push some other information from the builders that we're dealing with up there. And look for more to come on the website. There's always properties that Terry's putting up on the website from South Gulf Cove, which is in Port Charlotte. It's just the county north of Lee County. So you've got Port Charlotte or Charlotte County, and then you've got Lee County, and then you got Collier County. So you can see that on the maps if you look it up. So here's a new construction duplex. Terry, I think, has sold a couple of them already. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,250 square foot. These guys come loaded up. These are really nice. You don't have these are granite countertops. These are really nice duplexes. Brick paver driveways. Typically you get concrete driveways, but a brick paver driveway that you see on this photo at this size is probably about an $8,000 or $9,000 option upgrade on most duplexes. Well, this builder up there, because everything's affordable, he's putting them in, and it really does add a lot of curb appeal to it. New construction, these things we walked through them about 2 weeks ago with the builder, and just a great product up in Port Charlotte, South Gulf Cove.
And I just want to add, from a financial perspective, investors, let us know if you would like the link sent over, like Ken mentioned, to these property pro formas. But their financials are some of the strongest amongst all investments in any market that Marshall Reddick is in. The annual return on investment for these new construction duplexes is nearly 20%. The cash on cash return is above 5%. So great for those investors looking for appreciation, great if you're looking for cash flow, or if you're looking for a mix of both. Personally, these are some of my favorite investments that we currently have available.
Yeah, these are really strong. They're doing well. I think the builder wishes he had a lot more land to build on. He's consistently trying to acquire property.
Well, I just got the two that are on the website. I literally just got today, and I only got them because I've been begging and begging. He's selling them faster than he can get them to me. By the time I get them on the website, they're sold. So He got 2 extra lots. He gave them to me, and I'm just like, you know, we got to get him out there because they'll be gone. He does have a, you know, all the ones that we've contracted with him, he has built on his money. But he does have another avenue with construction to perm loans that he set up his company with through a bank. So if anybody's interested in doing the construction to perm loan, they can get it done, and then they get a closing credit also. But that's information that we could go into if you're interested.
This is just some of the projects that are blowing up in Charlotte County. So Allegiant is an airline that flies out of Port Charlotte. Well, the president that owns Allegiant Air, CEO, he sees the potential in the area. So they're building a massive, it's a planned resort, kind of mixed condos, you know, 1-bedroom units, 1,500 square foot units, 3 bedrooms. So it's a 22-acre development site in Port Charlotte. And it's going to be breaking out of the ground, I would probably say in 2020. But the area home values, when this project was announced, shot up 11% in that 1 year that they released the project. So in South Gulf Cove is roughly about 30 minutes from this project. And it's, you know, from the artist rendering and stuff, we've driven past the site where it's going to be built, and it's just open land, but it's right niched in the corner of Port Charlotte Harbor. So it's a good thing for the area. It's going to create a lot of construction jobs and full-time jobs for people that are going to run this. It's like condo slash hotel slash resort facility. I think the thing's got like 27 pools, and it's a massive project, probably one of the biggest facilities of its kind. It's actually one of a kind in the South Florida area, in the Southwest Florida area. So this is really exciting for Charlotte County, and there's a lot of thing that's going on in the downtown area in Charlotte, which is going to basically, you know, just add to the value of Charlotte County. So it's a great thing that's going on up there, and we're learning more about it every day, and the area and what's going on with their commercial redevelopment projects that are happening in Charlotte County. So this is Travis Desier and Kimberly. They are our preferred property management company. We've been dealing with these guys probably since the last 5 years. They are exclusive to Marshall Reddick. They give a Marshall Reddick discount. So if you do have a managed property with them, I think it's 8%, Terry, is that correct? Mm-hmm. So they manage your property for 8%. Right now, I think he manages about 300 doors or 300 properties for Marshall Reddick. Of course, if you want to call Travis, we encourage you. So if you guys are interested in getting in the market, you know what we have for real estate, you know the properties that we have or we can find, and there's always stuff changing, but we really encourage you guys to call Travis and have a conversation. If you're a first-time, you know, property owner, you're going to try and get into the market, you really need to know who your property management team is going to be, because, you know, Terry and the Reddick team, they'll you know, we'll fulfill the sale, but these guys are going to be the ones that take care of your property. And I can tell you, they do a great job. We've been doing this since 2004. These guys, they're obviously a dynamite team. Kim runs the back end. She runs all the financials and everything. And Travis is, you know, he's a Florida boy, grew up in Cape Coral, so he knows everything with regards to everything commercial. I mean, if you got a question about what's going on in Cape Coral, this guy, I would love to get him on the PowerPoint and talk about Cape Coral, because there's just so many things. I always touch base and say, hey, is there anything popping in Cape Coral? And he's like, I don't have the time to tell you everything that's going on. But these guys are just a really good, solid team. We like them. We trust them, and they've obviously performed well. They've proven themselves time and time again for the Marshall Reddick investors, taking care of the property. So they're real important for you on the investment side, you know, for the new timers out there, and even the seasoned ones. I'm sure there's people on this webinar that are using them too, and hopefully you guys are having a good experience with them, because anytime we have a bump in the road, Terry usually intervenes and tries to smooth things out. And of course, you know, it's never going to be 100% easy travels with you know, rental properties. There's always something that goes on, but I tell you, Travis is somebody I would definitely want on my side, because he's just a level-headed guy that handles problems and doesn't take things personally. He just tries to get to the root of the problem and fix it, you know. And typically he's always going to err on the property owner's side. So it's a good rep that you have for property management down here in our Florida area. So we got a lot of colleges. Moving off this slide, there's so many down here. The two big dogs are Florida Southwestern and Florida Gulf Coast University. Florida Gulf Coast University has got a massive nursing program and so does Florida West Southwestern. The hospitals, healthcare, everything down here is healthcare related. And these guys, they recruit out of the local hospital, out of the local colleges. So Florida Gulf Coast, probably in the last 5 years, has grown probably 7,000 or 8,000 students. It's massive. So housing is big. They're building housing communities all over the place for the colleges. So great Southwest Florida college presence. These are just a few. Another shot here. Yeah, that's just more college. So these are some of the beach shots. Fort Myers Beach. It's got 8.5 miles of white sand beaches, and they continually run all the way down into the Naples area. So this is why we get over 4.5 million visitors a year. They come down here for the white sugar sand and the turquoise waters. So it's a great community to live and play. And you know, Terry and I have a kayak, and we throw it in the water and go into the Gulf of Mexico. We go into the estuaries in the back bays, and we fish, and it's just great to be on the water. So a lot of people like the lifestyle, and it's just a great place to live. JetBlue Ballpark was put up in 2012. Spring training is huge down here. We have the Boston Red Sox. We have the Minnesota Twins. So when the boys of summer cap come back down here, it pours so much money into the economy for spring training. Spring training is massive down here. So we've got a big training facility in Fort Myers for the Minnesota Twins. And this one here, they built right near Lehigh Acres. This is kind of sandwiched between Lehigh Acres and the Southwest Airport. They went into an area that had a lot of open commercial land, and that's where they built the ballpark. So if you come down and drive around the area, you can't miss this big animal on the way out to Lehigh Acres. So it's a great draw. They're building hotels and restaurants all around the area on State Road 82 right now. They did the Florida Department of Transportation is doing a road widening project in Lehigh Acres right now. I think it's a $150 million project. It's got 4 phases, and they're widening all the highways and all the roads around Lehigh Acres and South Lee County and the airport because of the amount of growth that's coming in. These are just a bunch of high rises that I took on the coast. High rises are starting to come back. We know the economy's strong when developers are putting up these 20 and 30 story condos. We know that the residents are coming down. Most of these towers that are going up, they're already pre-sold. Most of the condos down here in Florida, the builders usually don't come out of the ground until the property is at least 75% sold, and then they start putting steel in the ground and concrete pillars. So these are just a few photos that I took around the area. The one on the left, that's just Tower 1. There's 5 more towers going up next to it. The project's called Kalia Bay, and it's in Collier County. Just very, very expensive high-end stuff. So people are moving into the area, and it just means more jobs and better pay and just a strong economy across the board. Hertz moved down here 2015. They built this in South Lee County. They told these guys, hey, you move your headquarters out of New Jersey, bring everybody down here, and we won't make you pay corporate income tax for 10 years. So they gave these guys a sweet deal. They bought 75 acres in South Lee County, and they put up the world headquarters for Hertz. It's a massive facility. They consistently hold job fairs every quarter. They're consistently adding employees. All the employees did not want to move from New Jersey. I don't know why, but that's crazy. But a lot of them did. I think they had only out of 2,700 employees, I think only 600 moved. So the jobs there are really good, and Hertz continues to has a really good presence in Lee County. So it was a really good move for Lee County to get Hertz, to move their world headquarters out of New Jersey to here in a brand new facility. So, and they're building some other off-site buildings on their campus. International Airport speaks for itself. Over 100 million visitors in 2017, Southwest Florida. in the whole region. That's Port Charlotte, Lee County, Collier County, Henry County. So nearly 9.5 million annual passengers locally come through the airport, 23,000 daily passengers, 217 daily flights. The impact to the area was 4.3 billion annually. That's kind of been around that ballpark, but the airport's in an expansion. What you see in this picture is just the one wing of the airport. They're actually building another wing. They're going to add a bunch more gates, and they're going to start increasing flights. During the snowbird season, we have Canada Air, and then we have two other carriers that come out of Germany, and I think it's France. They start, nonstop flights when the snowbirds come down in the off season. So the airport's consistently growing. There's a lot of commercial freight buildings going up, and airport infrastructure going up consistently around the airport. And back to you.
All right. Thank you so much, Terry and Ken. Again, every time I hear you both presenting on the Southwest Florida market, there's something new going on, and I'm learning something new. And Marshall Reddick investors, I hope you saw that not only are the investments available in Southwest Florida really strong financially, but they have a local economy that really sustains the rental market. And given all of the development and the job opportunities in Terry and Ken's market, it's clear that when you have that kind of job growth and that kind of development in your economy, you have a demand for rental housing. So not only are the financials and the returns strong in Southwest Florida, but really sustainable. And we've seen that year over year, which is why it's such a popular market amongst our investors, if not the most popular market amongst our investors. And if you're sitting there and thinking to yourself, what's next? Myself, Terry, Ken, we would love to follow up with you, get to know more about you, your specific real estate goals, share more about this market. So Terry and Ken, I really want to thank you guys for taking time this evening and presenting on your market.
No, thank you. We appreciate all you guys out there listening and taking the step and moving forward. The market's great, so come on down. We'll check it out.
Awesome. And Marshall Reddick investors, thank you so much for taking time out of your evening to join us. We'll be following up with you. My contact information is available there for you all as well. But for the time being, hope you all have a great evening, and thank you so much. We'll catch you on the next webinar.
All right. See you, folks.
Good night.